What's up, guys? It is Chris back with another watch video, and today we are talking about a new brand that actually is hitting the market. It's actually not a new brand. It is a revival of an old brand. It is Tornek-Rayville, and they are coming out with a new watch called the TR660 Dive Watch. So in the early 1960s, the U.S. Navy's experimental diving unit, these days called the Navy SEALs, were looking for a tough dive watch. Through their rigorous tests, only one watch fit the bill, and that was the 50 Fathoms, beating out the likes of the Rolex Submariner and a few other really tough competition. However, because of the Buy American Act that was passed by Congress back in 1933, it was very hard to import the 50 Fathoms to the United States. Therefore, a cunning businessman by the name of Alan V. Tornek struck a deal with Blancpain to import the 50 Fathoms and relabel the name of the watch Tornek-Rayville. The model would be the TR900. So this is not something that was unfamiliar for Blancpain because they have done this a few times with the 50 Fathoms. I actually own a 50 Fathoms bathyscaphe that is a relabeled or a private label 50 Fathoms bathyscaphe, and they've done this over the years plenty of times. So this was just another example, but a very early example. Only about 1,000 pieces of these 50 Fathoms were actually made, and since many of those 1,000 were actually destroyed because of the radioactive lume that they used on the dials, these are very rare and collectible watches today. So what we are talking about today is a revival of that name, the Tornek-Rayville. This is essentially a Blancpain 50 Fathoms sort of homage. And I believe that Bill Yao of the MK2 fame purchased the rights of the name to try and revive it and do it some justice. And that is really what he has done here. He has done a very faithful reproduction of that Tornek-Rayville. At the same time, it is obviously an homage to the 50 Fathoms because you cannot make this watch without making an homage to the 50 Fathoms. So you get a 40 millimeter watch with a 14.7 millimeter thickness, 48.5 millimeter lug to lug, 200 meters of water resistance, so you're getting a very good water resistance, a little bit better than obviously the original. A double dome sapphire crystal with AR coating. Again, obviously an upgrade from the original. This is actually made in Japan, so this is not a Swiss-made watch, but they are putting an NE15 in this watch, which is essentially the equivalent of a Seiko 6R movement, like a 6R15. A lot of people don't know, but they also sell the NH35, which is a 4R movement. However, they sell a higher grade movement, and a lot of brands do not use these 6R movements. I think I've only featured one or two 6R movements outside of the Seiko sort of lineup of watches that actually are 6R movements. So this NE15, a very rare movement, not used very often. However, as I mentioned, Bill Yao and of course MK2 or MKII is another watch brand. He uses this movement in some of the watches that he actually makes for that lineup of watches as well. Those are obviously vintage inspired military watches as well. So he's using that movement there. It's kind of the equivalent of a Miyota 9000 series or an ETA 2824. That's kind of what Seiko is going for with these, reliability-wise and power reserve-wise, and obviously accuracy. These are actually priced really well. These are coming in at $450 as a pre-order, and then another $450 when the watch is actually ready. The first batch has sold out. So these are going to be around $900. However, the first batch has sold out pretty much immediately. It was only 150 watches that they were making. This is not a limited edition, so there will be plenty more to come. And that's kind of the reason why I'm making this video, just to give you a heads up. If you are interested in this watch, as I am, I actually missed that first round of watches. I will be getting in the second round of watches because obviously, I'm a huge 50 Fathoms fan. I really love the 50 Fathoms. I love the look of this watch, and it's a really nicely proportioned watch as well. Very true to the original. You get a black dial, black bezel, and it looks like a 50 Fathoms. You even get that circle down at the 6 o'clock, which was a moisture indicator. It's kind of part of my logo that I actually revamped recently. They did it in one color. It's just black and white, and it just has a little bit of information, 200 meters, about the watch itself. Where previously, obviously on the 50 Fathoms, that was actually a moisture indicator. So they've taken a couple of liberties here. However, the dial layout, the indices, all true to the original 50 Fathoms. Beautiful watch, and I really like what they've done here. Tell me what you guys think. A revival of a name that a lot of people don't know. A really small batch of watches that were actually made a very long time ago, and most of those are gone. The original versions of these sell for 50, 60,000, 70,000, a lot more than that, because they are so rare, and they were made for the U.S. Army, for essentially the Navy SEALs, or what would become the Navy SEALs. Just a really great story behind the watches, and their rarity obviously adds to the mystique. So that's why they call for such high prices. But now you have the opportunity to get one that has the actual name of the brand on there. It is a revival. Again, a lot of brands do this. Aran was one that I recently featured on my channel. They took a lot more liberties, and then they came out with something that was way more faithful to the original design. Great watches. These are great watches. Technically, you are not getting a Tornek-Rayville because it is a complete, from the ground up, new design from a new company that has really nothing to do with that original name. However, if you could look past this, and I think it's a really good looking watch. It's a really cool watch, and I really like the design, so I'm definitely willing to look past that. But tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of the story behind the watch? It's a great story, and I like I said, I love it. But tell me what you guys think. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.